when I identified the problem with my mother, the first step, because not from this space, I went and talked to the people that were. I talked to as many baby boomer caregivers as I could. I went to the stakeholders in the system, talked to social workers and discharge planners and physicians, talked to payers and healthcare executives, and use that information to fuel where we need to start, what that first step was. And the kind of 80-20 rule of what do people need when they leave a facility, what causes the most headache, what's the biggest emergency, is really the 5 things that we support. So it's in-home healthcare, both medical and non-medical. It's meals, transportation, medical devices, and residential placement. So anywhere from independent living to memory care.
Okay, can you talk about how each of those appear on CaringWire?
So the process is diagnosis driven. And so it starts with an assessment. So it's 16 questions right now. You log on to CaringWire.com, you make a profile, which just allows you to come back and change your answers or see new results, track your progress, share it with your family, friends, and providers. Those 16 questions cover things like, generally, when do you need something? Where do you want it? So zip code. What condition are you faced with? And then we go through social determinants and activities of daily life in very basic terms. So would you like transportation services? Can you make meals for yourself? Would you like help cleaning and bathing? So very basic things that we then translate into filtering the database of providers. So after somebody goes through the onboarding process, they're presented with care categories that they have identified that they need. And they're filtered by what they said, the location, and their financial situation as well. So you'll see maybe home health care, transportation services, meals, and then people like you also look at things like this. So you might think that you only need home health care, but this might be your first rodeo. This might be your first time taking care of somebody, right? So you might not understand that there's also respite services, or there's also subsidized city services that can offset some of your other needs that you didn't even think of because you're so focused on this one issue of getting a home health care provided for your loved one. So we try to make it as easy as possible to get the answers that people are looking for, but also prompt them to think more holistically and identify resources that could help them down the line as well.
You said you've gotten 6 feedback so far. Can you give me an example?
Yeah, so I'd say that the happiest moment I've been since this, other than seeing the smile on my mom's face when the site went live and her pictures on the About page, was a phone call that I received. The lady that cuts my hair, I told her about CaringWire, and about a month ago, she says, hey, I shared your information with a lady who I also service. And she just moved here from Tennessee, and I'm not sure what's going on, but it sounded like something that you said you do. And I was like, okay, awesome. Have her call me, right? And she shared my phone number with her. And this lady called me. She said what she's going through. Told her to go to the site, and if she has any questions at all, give me a call, shoot me a text. I'm here for you, because right now we're looking for feedback, right? We're still making sure we make the process as smooth and easy as possible. And about a half hour later, she calls me and she says, I just got a call from a home health care provider. They'll be here tomorrow, and you have no idea. I just moved here from Tennessee. My husband had to quit his job to take care of his 94-year-old mother, who's now living with us. I didn't expect this at all. If I was in Tennessee, I would have known what to do, but now I'm here, and I was lost, and I never even knew it could be this easy. And just, I mean, that's amazing. And we're so far from perfect right now that I'm very encouraged for the direction we're going, because even a little bit, kind of the first step that we've taken is 10x better than what people deal with today.
Now, you started taking care of your mother and seeing there was a need.
So, not true. I saw my mother, I lived with my mom, I saw her taking care of her aging parents, and I stepped in where I could, where I thought I could be helpful, and my superior Google skills could help out, as if that was the answer.
Okay, and so how did you decide this is something that needs to be done, and this is what it's going to look like, and I'm the person to do it?
So, three kind of unique questions there, but I'll try to wrap them all into one answer. Really, I saw this with my mom, and it was shocking. You never want to see your mom be frustrated or call you the dog's name. That's just uncomfortable, right? And I know you don't know my mom, but she's incredibly sharp, quick-witted, and always just kind of on it. Can work a room like nobody else. And so when I saw that, I really it was disturbing. It was sucking her life away in a time when she should have been enjoying life. She should have been taking trips and doing things that retired people do, stay active, whatever, really whatever she wants to do, but she was forced to take on this responsibility. Then when I noticed that all of her friends were in the same situation, they'd come over for book club, they'd come over for wine night, and all they would talk about was their situation caring for their aging parent, their spouse, their kids, whatever it was, that was the topic of conversation every single time. And in my previous career, I had been an operations guy. And so I got really attuned at matching strategy to a process problem. That was the majority of things I faced in a number of different industries, in a number of different countries and settings and cultures. And 9 times out of 10, it was a people and process issue. And so what I realized in caregiving is it's not a healthcare issue, it's a process issue. And I'm a process expert. I know how to apply other methodologies to this space. Is there truly a problem? And that's really when I embarked on this journey, February 2018, and started just to dig in as deep as I could to understand it. What are the fundamental problems here or challenges in this space? And before I even identified a solution, and what would I need to get there?
You said you had 200 people now.
Yeah.
How would you define success or penetration in the Columbus market?
Great question. So there's 11.5 million people in Ohio. Columbus is one of the most populous cities. My target for the next 12 months is 10,000 users on the platform. It's extremely ambitious. But what we're looking for now is those proof points, right? So with no advertising, with strictly word of mouth, we have 200 people on the platform. We have 6 amazing success stories. We're starting to integrate into organizations, nonprofits, healthcare systems, municipalities that have thousands of people that they serve. And we understand that our technology needs to integrate into the current infrastructure, not as a replacement, but as an enhancement. And if we can properly do that in a way that takes work away instead of adds more work and adds another system, we'll be in really good shape.
If you're going to move it to Cleveland, you'd have to start over in terms of all the data of the local resources. Is that right, or would it be?
To a certain degree, yeah. So we are refining our processes for data collection and refining our go-to-market distribution strategy as well. We're still early, so we're very detail-oriented. So kind of coming back to the operations background, understanding what we're doing now, what works and what doesn't, and how can we repeat these activities. So that's going to be really important to us as we scale. But you hit the nail on the head. I mean, data collection and aggregation of the supply side, the providers, is very challenging. And that took us months to get down for the Columbus market. But as we learn, that learning curve is going to come down.
You said 10,000 was your goal
Yeah.
in a year. Is that a point where you might start looking at another market, or are you going to continue to build the Columbus market?
That's a good question.
Too soon to tell?
Yeah, it's really too soon to tell. There's too many factors that come into play at that point. What's our team look like? What's our funding situation?
Is this something that requires funding, or is it something that can be eventually self-supporting?
It's definitely something that can be self-supporting. Initially, it requires funding because really in this space, everything's Missouri. It's the show me, right? So we need those users, we need the funding initially in order to prove out the concept, show the impact, show that it drives down the total cost of care, show that it takes the stress out of the caregiver situation before we can actually go upstream and monetize this in a significant way.